Putin hired an attractive female translator to distract Trump during a summit, Stephanie Grisham book says.
Here's a summary of the article.
Russian President Vladimir Putin hired an attractive female interpreter to distract President Donald Trump at a G20 summit, according to a new book by former White House press secretary Stephanie Grisham. Grisham, in her memoir, "I'll Take Your Questions Now," details the meeting between Trump and Putin at the 2019 G20 summit in Osaka, according to extracts of the book published in the New York Times. During a meeting between the leaders, Fiona Hill, a White House advisor on Russia who was later a witness at Trump's first impeachment trial, was said to have turned to Grisham to point out ways Putin was trying to throw Trump off balance. Trump's relationship with Putin was the subject of intense scrutiny during his term in office, with U.S. intelligence agencies concluding that Russia had launched a campaign to covertly help Trump win the White House in 2016. According to Greg Miller's 2018 book, The Apprentice, Putin sought to exploit what he perceived to be Trump's personal weaknesses, and encouraged Trump's fears that there was a deep state of U.S. officials plotting against him. Trump has expressed his personal admiration for authoritarian leaders such as Putin, and the Grisham book claims that Trump told him at one meeting that he would pretend to adopt a tough tone with him for the sake of the cameras. Trump in a statement hit back at Grisham over the claims in the book, without addressing any of them directly.
This post received a score of 36,000, with an upvote ratio of 82%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
That tracks. He also took his large Labrador to a meeting with Merkel in 2007 knowing she had been bitten by a dog as a child and has a phobia of dogs as a result.
Merkel's reply: "Damn girl.
Lol yup. But as a German, she may not have even realized her truthful statement was a burn. I was simply stating the obvious. Why has this insulted you?
Germans get a full pass on insults and I love it so much. But I realize that raving about how much I enjoyed Germany puts me in the company of some absolute bastards, so I don't get to say it most of the time."
IMO. The weirdest revelation in the book is that Trump likes the music from Cats.
It's a musical that was insanely popular in the 1980s and he's a 1980s New York guy, so not exactly a surprise.
The 80s are the new 50s for conservatives. It's the new mythical utopic time period they hearken unto. Doesn't have that lame anti-sex, anti-youth culture stuffiness of the 50s and instead extols the virtues of hypermasculinity and being a crass or aggressively selfish asshole.
As a Gen X, when do I get to revisit the 90s? Hopefully as a positive thing.
Well, millennials will be in charge of everything soon, so it's coming. They already rebooted The X-Files and Animaniacs.
Sure. But when are they going to reboot?
They have already reboot, The Guardian Code.
Can that get rebooted?
At least he used an attractive woman and not a laser pointer.
Or a bucket of KFC chicken.
Or his own daughter.
Ivanka with a fake moustache. She looks like my daughter. So hot.
WAWA we were, very nice.
She looks like a normal woman to me.
An average Russian woman, to be honest.
From what I saw during the week I spent in Russia a few years back, it would take some effort to find an unattractive young woman in Russia.
It was like that when I went to Denmark. Everybody looked like supermodels and I was a goofy-looking Quasimodo. Sure brought my self-esteem down a couple of notches.
In general, the average person who isn't overweight and takes some amount of care for themselves is pretty attractive. Like, average is probably actually a 6 to 7 on the realistic judgment scale. So when you leave countries where we have near 40%, or did we top that now here in the States, obesity rates, you're just naturally going to see more attractive people. Take this as fat shaming if you will, shrug.
The US sits around 35% overweight and 35% obese. So about 70% of the country is pretty heavy.
No translator is needed to convey the absolute contempt for Trump written all over Putin's face.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.